So today I want to do a video, I'm going to do a video on mares, okay? And I purposely wore this t-shirt for this video because I thought it was quite relevant. But yeah, so I want to talk about mares. My first pony was a mare. She was horrible. She was the worst first pony ever. She used to throw me off all the time. She used to drag me everywhere. But I suppose in hindsight I learned a lot of her. So ever since then, my mum always got geldings. So I've always had geldings until I started training. I've learned to love the mares, okay? Hence why I've bought a mare now, a foal mare, Billy. So anyway, I want to talk about energy. And energy is a hard one, like feel, to show and explain to people because you have to experience it yourself. And you have to really pay attention to it. And I think this is the problem why a lot of people find mares are like Marmite. They love them or they don't. They can't get on with mares. It's because they can't understand them. And I don't know why as women we should feel that way, because we are women as well. So this is a perfect example I can give to you. So my husband is very hard-handed, shall we say, okay? He's not soft, he's a typical man, okay? So when he goes to sort of touch me, even if I'm cooking and he'll come home from work and he'll, give me a cuddle or something, he's like, yeah, he'll turn, he's grabby, if I say, oh, can you rub my back, it's like, like that, okay, oh God, get up. So when he does come to me, I'm like, ooh. And he's like, oh, why do you always do that to me? And I'm just like, because you're too hard, you're too grabby, you're too rubby, and I need you to come and touch me like this, like soft, gentle touch, not because I want to give him the mare face. Oh, get off. Okay, and that really irritates him then. But then I'm trying to school him, and then he's like, yeah. So anyway, this made me realise the connection with the mares that people, struggle with. So instead of, let's do a rope example here. So if you have a mare, and it could be anything, extensive gelding or stallion or whatever, but mares I just think are a good example of this. And I'm going to use the pony we've got here because she's going to be sold soon. So as a really good example of energy and feel. And people don't really understand when I talk about the pony, how good she is at teaching people feeling and about their energy and all of those around them, okay? Because she really feeds off that invisible energy that no one can see. And because people can't see it, we have come as people way away from nature. And this is spoken about a lot in the horsemanship, a lot of horsemanship stuff, like the new age horsemanship, I like to call it. Where before, we do it the hard way, okay? So it's a bit like the children, like now, before you get the belt out, smack them. And this day and age, we sort of get down to their level, go on the knee and sort of explain what they've done and why they shouldn't do it and, the consequences of it, right? We do more of a reasonable approach. So that's why I call it new school horsemanship, because instead of just grabbing them and being all rough with them, we're trying to sort of relate more and come back to nature with them. Okay, that's how I like to look at it. So, as I say, in a society we live in, I just think we don't trust our gut feeling anymore, and that's our gut feeling is our natural tendencies that we just don't use anymore. We don't have to hunt and gather, we don't have to watch out for predators all the time, but it's still in the animals, and that's something that we have lost touch in to relate to them. But if we do look into that and learn about this, there's lots of stuff I talk about at the clinics, okay? People love it or hate it because it's either over their head or they're really into it. Warwick calls it the woo-woo, yeah? That sort of thing. So basically, if I use this as an example, I've already used an example of, like, instead of just coming up to them and be like, yeah, good, we want to be coming up to them as if we've got magic in our hands, okay? And the magic's getting close to them, because it's not magic, it's energy. Because we can't see to it, don't relate to it, we just don't think it's there, because like I say, we've lost touch with nature. So this energy's coming, it's touching, but I ain't coming I'm pushing the energy and then slamming it into her. I'm bringing it, and then if I've got to touch, I touch just the fur of this teddy like I would the horse, okay? And that's what the mares really respect and like, okay? So if I have a moody mare at the clinic that could be quite aggressive or pull faces or strike out or kick or whatever, then I'm trying to explain to the owner, look, read her whole aura and read your aura, the energy that you are producing, because usually it's like, oh, my mare, so you've already got bad juju energy when you come to it, okay? So really, the horsemanship I teach is really more about the person and being aware of the energy that you're producing, the thoughts that are in your head when you come to the horse, and your intention when you come to the horse. So, perfect example here is leading. So I'll be at a clinic and I'll be talking about this stuff. So we're going to lead behind, we want respect to the horse, we don't want him running all over you, tra-la-la-la, that old chestnut. So what people do then was we'll have a little talk, the horses are settled, say, and then I'll say, okay, go walk them, I want you to walk them behind, and then straight away we'll go, come on then horse, and there's absolutely no warning, this happens all the time. They'll be like, okay then Nicole, go do that, to the horse. Instead of a game, because the intention of leading the horse, not what the horse is doing at that point. So instead of like just marching up and forgetting there and then hitting the end of the rope drastically, it's all about picking this up, feeling there. I got a feel on that elephant rope on his neck there, okay? But even here, even before I get there, they should feel the knot on the halter. And this can relate to anything, whether it's picking the feet up, approaching them, whatever, your riding aids, whatever. But people just are not aware of it. And when they're putting it, say if I give this example, not many people then will relate it to everything they do with the horse, because then they're having to retrain a pattern in themselves where instead of just being aware of how they interact with the horse, how they interact with their aids and their hands when they're riding, when they're going to get it in the field, whatever, or how they're grooming it, how they're leading it, how they interact with the horse. From this example, they don't relate it to the whole scenario of interacting with the horse through riding and everything else. And it's sort of, it's very hard, because like I say, we've all got into habits over many years of being with horses. And until you're completely aware and in the moment, every single time you interact with the horse, it all of a sudden doesn't become anything to do with the horse, it becomes with you and your enlightenment, okay, like what I would say, the woo-woo, of you being aware of what's happening at the present time. And that is sometimes far too deep for people to take in, okay, because they can't see it, they can't feel it, they can't hear it. Like I say, going back to this, in this world that we live in, we're out of touch with nature. It's very hard for people to relate to with that, okay? Because it's like, ooh. But yeah, so I'm going to get this mare out today, my little pony here, and run through some examples that just make me laugh through a general day with her, okay? So I'll give you a couple of examples. So she's one of them, she always gets penned, she doesn't really have much attention. So for easy sake, as we all do, sometimes I just open the gate and just let her through it. And most of the time she runs through it, okay? And then I thought, oh, I'm putting a bad habit on her, being lazy, I should stop it, okay? And I don't use any ropes with this mare, okay? Running bob her head collar on her. And she knows when it's time to come into the pen, and if at worst case scenario, I've got to go in and I just got to lead her in with a rug, okay? Because that's how sensitive she is. She won't try and pull away from me or anything, but that's what I like about this mare, okay? But she likes my energy and the way I do things, I think, because I'm not going to go off chasing her, I'm not going to go and tell her off for running through the gate. So let's start with the gate example. We'll do this and I'll do some videos on it. She might do it, she might not, because I'm selling her, I have been working on these little things, which is not a problem for me. And if she's on the halter, she won't do it. But it's just so, she's in the morning, I'm going to let her out and I just open the gate and she just goes, oh, she's all gone. But mainly because Money Pit is at the gate as well, and he'll probably bite her as well. So she's trying to get out there as quick as possible without getting bitten by him. So anyway, the first, what I started to do, instead of just putting her on the halter and saying, you've got to walk through the gate because I've got hold of you now, is I started to literally go into slow-mo And I'd go, I'd put my energy down, okay, and then I'd be like, right, Pony, we're going to walk through this gate, and I'd possibly just touch her on the top of the head or the chest, and then I'd open the gate really slow. I'd say, easy, go on there. And then she magically walked through the gate. It's really slow. And I thought, God, that's mad. And this is how I've just played with interacting with her. When she came, she was really bad at picking her feet up. And again, I don't know what experiences she's had. And when I watched, say, the blacksmith come up and trim feet, even with my horse, with the trained horses, and he's a big guy, okay, and he's there to do a job, so he's going to get the foot, and he's trying to teach them not to, the young horses, not to pull the foot away, okay, and he's 10 times stronger than me. So when the pony on him is just, it's a hilarious situation to watch, okay. So I can rasp the pony's feet. She will let me rasp all 4 of her feet, okay. But I have to be in this low energy mode, and I can't, if she resists the foot, if I get, so say this is a foot, and I go to pick it up, and she resists, then I will not fight her in my hand, okay? So I will not keep her foot and do this. If she resists, I will let it go, because I think in her mind it's like a bear trap. So when someone wants to come and pick her foot up, especially if she's a big person, she thinks, oh God, they're trying to hold my leg into place, and she doesn't mentally like it. So what I do is any sort of resistance, she goes, oh, I don't like it anymore. I say, okay, fine. and someone might, and it's really, there's that fine line with me saying that, where in traditional training you'd be like, oh, you teach her about habit, so when she does that, you're letting go. And it is true, but this is where your advanced horsemanship skills come in. You have got to get in the mental head of that horse, okay? So what she is saying to me is, I don't want to be restricted. I don't know what you're going to do. I want 4 legs on the floor so I can run off if I need to. So what you're saying is, I'm not going to restrict you by if there's anything, happening with that foot and she freezes and gets tense, because I want her to be like, so as I approach her, I'll gently tell her I'm coming with that energy, that magic. I'll drag down her foot. If she lifts it up, then I'll go away. And that's all I want. And then I just started playing with this free in the field, because that is the truth. Liberty is truth. When you haven't got a head collar and lead rope on, especially with this little mare, she knows that she can get away. So this was my sort of goal with her when she first came, where I want to pick all 4 of her feet up free in the field, when I just approach her and she'd let me do it. And she lets me do it now. But she trusts me to do it. Just because Joe Blogg's come in the field doesn't mean that she would let him do it. And this is the thing, going back to my mare video, people do not understand. And they say like, well, and people then, I always look like I feel sometimes when I'm lying to people, when I've said about horses, like, they've never done that with me. And that's because I am very respectful, aware of my energy, and feel to the horse. And they really, I can see in my head now the faces they have when they look at me when I'm going to do something new with them. They are like, well, what's going to happen? But I trust you face. Not like, oh, get off. Because I don't like what you do to me generally in a day. So yeah, let's have a look at this pony, and I'll give you a few examples in the video, because I think it would be really interesting for people to see, just because she's so good at showing it. Yeah, and I hope people really get something from this, because again, because you can't see it, feel it, hear it, touch it, doesn't mean that it's not there. And you are then entering, as I've said before in a few of my videos, the realm of magic, woo-woo, whatever. Even when a couple of years ago, good 3-4 years ago, with Money Pit, I was trying to search for, I thought there was going to be a magic door into the horsemanship land that I was missing, okay? Even though I read so much stuff saying, go back to the foundation, go back to the foundation. And it was only on some podcasts with some really advanced horsemanship people where they had a light bulb moment. And it was nothing to do with a special door or some advanced movers that they knew that they've got hold of from other horsemanship gods. It was tiny little wins or notices like I'm telling you now. And because it's so subtle and little, people totally ignore it because they're up here trying to get advanced stuff when all the answers are down here on the foundation. But it's how good you do the foundation, how good you notice the things on the foundation, how soft you are, and how aware of your energy you are, that it will get you, it will literally, if you complete this level of foundation horsemanship perfectly, you will advance straight away you will get straight up the ladder to the advanced, and that's the way it is. And it's only now when I go back and I look at these things and re-look in a different mindset and be more aware and present with the horse that I am filling in the gaps that I've missed down here, which then strengthens my layer of foundation, which then I'm able to build up the ladder stronger. So yeah, let's have a look at this mare. I hope that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. But like I say, when you first hear it, it's a bit of a mind hit. People either will take on board and they will search for it and try and find these little invisible energies, and or they won't, and that really separates dedicated people to the not so dedicated people. So anyway, let's get on to this mare. Let's have a look.